When we're living in fear or when we're living with fear, we are vulnerable and we're susceptible. And in this context that Jesus is speaking in, there is going to be grand tribulation. The result of that, naturally speaking, is going to be a fear unless we have a hope that is greater than the circumstances with which we live. Because of the fear, the enemy is going to have a very ripe conditions to bringing about a worldwide deception. I think we've seen some of this even within the last few years, have we not? Because of disinformation, because of misinformation, because of marketing fear, because of bringing about all the different entities in the world. There was a bill of goods that's been sold to the world, and people made decisions based on a lack of accurate information. People made decisions on disinformation. People made decisions having fear imposed upon them with possibly dying and possibly losing a job. And it was all motivating responses out of people that would not have been made if there was not fear, if there was not duress, if there was total information and truth that was laid out there. But instead, what has happened is that we have had government, we've had big tech, we've had media, we've had the medical industry, we've had education, we've had commerce, we have had all of it coming at the people, not just in America, but it has been global around the world, the impact of people living out of that fear and making decisions that if they would have had the right information, they would have never made. So what we realize is when this end time comes, it's going to be nothing for the enemy. People have asked me, so do you think that we're in that end time right now? No, we're moving towards the end time. I believe it was a practice run by the enemy and those with them. Can it work? Can we get the entire world caught up in disinformation, misinformation, get filled with fear to where they will do whatever we want them to do out of that deception? And I believe that's exactly what's gone on. So right now, as elders, we don't trust our government. Now, this is not an insurrectionist statement. This is a discernment statement. It's discernment about what goes on around us. We don't trust our government. We do not trust big tech. We do not trust media. We do not trust the medical industry. We do not trust the educational system. We do not trust commerce. We don't trust anything, but we're going to look at everything based on truth and with critical thinking and find the truth. We are not in any way, shape, or form just going to go lock, stock, and barrel with the trend of what's out there right now. And as elders, we feel we have a responsibility to you. And we want you to also learn how to live with discernment and how to be able to navigate these times in such a way. What I just got through saying is not a political statement. What I just got through saying has to deal with the discernment that the ecclesia, God's people, must have, must live with, must live in, so we can be that light, so we can be that hope in the times in which we live. And if there's not an anger that wells up in you when you see how people have been manipulated by people with power and people with resources and manipulating an entire world, I would venture to say it's probably because you've not yet understood all that's going on behind the curtain. Because it is not something that we would in any way, shape, or form be able to put a stamp on and endorse. We've got to be alert in the times in which we live.